right, so here's an interesting email. I want you parents to get in on this also because it has to do with their kid driving. She wants to know, should she force her kid to drive or not?
Hi, Bert Show. My husband and I are longtime listeners and really value your perspectives. So I thought I'd reach out for a little advice on a parenting dilemma we're currently facing. Our 17-year-old son is about to graduate high school. And like many parents, we've been thinking about how to mark this milestone in a meaningful way. One idea we've had for a while was to gift him our older backup car as a graduation present. Something practical, useful, and symbolic for this new chapter in his life. But here's the catch. He has absolutely no interest in driving. He hasn't shown any desire to get his license, and he doesn't seem eager to even start learning. My husband still thinks giving him the car might be just the push he needs to finally get motivated. He sees it as a gesture of trust and responsibility that could inspire our son to take that next step towards independence. On the other hand, I'm a little more hesitant. Part of me worries that we're trying to force something he's just not ready for, whether emotionally or mentally. I don't want him to feel like he's failing us by not being where we thought he'd be at this age, or worse, end up resenting what was meant to be a gift. We're really torn on what to do and would love to hear your thoughts. Is this the kind of nudge that helps teens grow, or should we hold off and let him come to driving on his own timeline? Graduation is coming up fast, so any input you could share would be hugely appreciated. Thanks so much for taking the time to read this. Samantha.
That's a good one. Parents, 1-855-BERT SHOW. Do you force them into driving, or do you say, hey, you know what? They're not ready. They don't want to, so they find different means. I got so many opinions on this. There have been times where I have been a rigid parent. My dad was super rigid. My dad was rigid to the 10th. So I'll say I was rigid to the 4th. I was a little bit better than him. But it just, I think when I was growing up, it was just in a time that when you could get your driver's license, you couldn't get down there fast enough. It was that, as soon as you got out of school, your parents were with you and you were going to get your driver's license because it was freedom, right? And it's also freedom for your parents also. Like, my parents just were sick of driving me around everywhere. So back in my day, that's what we did. And I think you tend to press that on your kids too, which I did with my eldest son, and it was a mistake. I've got two kids that are so incredibly different from each other. One, no problem, couldn't wait to hang out with his friends, get in his car, go hang out, see different things. But Hayden was reluctant right from the start. Didn't want to, was scared to drive, but he always he kind of veers a little on the anxious side anyway. So I'm like, we'll get over it. As soon as you get into the car, you're going to get over it. So I forced it on him, and it was the wrong decision. You got to listen. You got to meet your kids where they are, man. I mean, I got him into that car, and then I was so rigid like my dad. Then I bought him a car, and then he banged that thing up all over the place. And I finally had to take the car away from him because he banged it up so much, and he was just a crappy driver.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, he was terrible. I'll show you pictures of the car. It looks like it was in one of those old school demolition derbies.
What did he do to it?
He hit everything.
He was playing bumper cars.
I mean, literally everything. I mean, it was really, really bad. And it got to a point where I was joking about it so much that I had to take a look at myself and go, this isn't going to be very funny when he gets into an accident with somebody and hurts them and hurts himself. So there was one day I just had to pull the car from him. I should have listened to him. You got to listen to your kids.
This is so different because you're so used to kids at that age wanting to drive and being so excited to drive. I don't think I would force this on my kid. I mean, I do think I would at least try to encourage them to let me teach them to drive, be in the car, because you never know when you might be in a situation where you at least need to know how to drive. But as far as forcing them to have a car and hit the road, if that's not what they really want to do, I couldn't see myself doing it because I would be afraid I would regret it. If something were to happen, I feel like I would blame myself and I would be like, my kid told me that they weren't ready and I kind of forced it on them and I didn't listen and I should have. So for that reason, I would try to encourage it because I do think you need it, even though I know firsthand you can't survive without a car, even though I've done it because a big part of that is me being from New York City. It's so common to not have a car. It is possible. I wouldn't force it on them. I would just try to encourage it.
Abby, you just got your driver's license a couple of years ago. How'd your parents handle that?
Yeah, well, I mean, you know what they say. You can lead a kid to the car, but you can't make him drive. And I think that's the
They
perfect
definitely say that.
They definitely say that for sure. And I think this is the perfect example of that. Of if he doesn't want to drive, that's his prerogative. And the only thing you can really do as a parent is, like Mo said, teach him how to drive, give him the skills to be able to survive as an adult. So when he realizes you can't really exist without a car, although you're doing pretty well without a car,
it's possible.
It is tougher to exist without a car in the real world if you have a job that requires you to drive or something along those lines. So I would do what you can to prepare him, but I think it would be a mistake to give him a gift of something he's not going to be interested in and excited about. If you want to gift it to him somewhere along the way when he is ready to drive, but I think giving it to him as like his big culmination of a graduation gift would be an error.
Hey, Donna, good morning. You're part of the Bert Show.
Good morning. I agree with what the last few people are talking about. I would not force it. My son decided he didn't want to drive till he was 18, and I'm like, okay, if there's a fear, then, God forbid something happens.
Yeah.
And, you regret it for the rest of your life. So I absolutely would not force it. When they're ready, you'll know it.
Yeah, thanks, Donna. So I grew up in an environment, and I passed this on to my kids also, and it was the wrong thing, is that when you're scared of something, you attack it immediately. You don't let it, you don't run away from it. So when Hayden was telling me that he was scared to drive, my initial instinct was then get in the car and let's drive. And it was the wrong thing to do. That's that rigid thinking, like I wasn't listening to him. It was that generational attitude that I was putting on him, and it was the wrong decision.
I wouldn't say that's completely wrong, though. I do think there are times in life when you are supposed to do it scared.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of things you're going to have to do scared. I just think if the end result could actually be like your life on the line, then that's not the time.
100%. And as a parent, you're making those decisions all the time.
For sure.
Because I do think that this generation lacks a little grit. And,
For sure.
And that comes sometimes from parents. Good morning, Megan. You're on the Bert Show.
Good morning, Bert Show. First of all, I love you guys. I am a P1 from day one.
Thank you, Megan. Thanks for being part of the show. What you got?
Absolutely. So I am in this predicament as well. My son, Teddy, is 15, and he does not want to drive at all. He doesn't want to get behind the wheel. He doesn't want to learn in a parking lot. And I am of the opinion that, you know what? I'm not going to force him. I don't want to put him in a situation where he freaks out and wrecks the car, or where he's just so anxious because his dad and I live about an hour apart. His dad is kind of the opinion, he needs to learn to drive. He wants to go to school at Georgia Tech. He needs to learn to drive. But I have told my son, look, we're going to take this at your pace because driving is, you're driving a huge machine, and everyone knows Atlanta traffic is terrible. So I don't feel like it should be something forced on your teenager. I think it should be, your kid. You know what they're capable of. And while he's very responsible and a great student, he's just not ready. It freaks him out. And I don't feel like I'm going to force my son into something that's going to make him more anxious. And maybe he gets in that little fender bender in a mall parking lot and never wants to drive again.
Yeah, Megan, I think you represent, as an overreaching opinion, the difference between moms and dads here, where dads are like, get in there! Get in that car! Where moms are more like, they'll embrace the situation, nurture the situation, and dad is just like, get in that car! Yeah, I'm with you on that. You really got to take direction from your kids.
It's definitely a balance from the parents, but I agree with what you said. You got to learn to meet your kids where they at.
Yeah, it's never a good idea to push your kid out into the road in any situation. So,
The Bert Show.